Morning, folks. Welcome to the Joey Show. I'm Joey Avery. What an unbelievable time to be alive that we are living in. I mean, last week I went off camping and the whole world turned upside down. I think people are drastically underestimating how crazy this timeline we are in is. Maybe you're not underestimating it. Maybe you're on top of it. But the fact that Donald Trump was attempted to be assassinated only a few weeks back, we still have very few answers. Biden has dropped out of the race and disappeared. Kamala is coming out of nowhere, okay? And this is just in the political realm. We've got the Olympics going on. Christians are mad at it. Pommel horse guy is famous. What does it all mean? I don't know, but we're going to find out today. I think we are living in wild times, and I think that if I could distill from looking at everything that's going on right now, one common theme, one thing that we can take away from the events of the world and make them relevant to our own life, it is that timing is everything.
Everything in life is about timing.
You got to know your time, okay? It adds up. It makes sense for Biden. It makes sense for Kamala. The assassination, Mr. Pommel Horseman, it also might make sense for you. Okay, I see a lot of people in my life, I see a lot of people get very tripped up. People think, I've been single for so long, or this job isn't working out. And sometimes it just takes one tiny little thing. Life is resting on a razor's edge, and one tiny little thing can change it. So let's get into it. Last week I was gone. I was camping. Okay. I mentioned this. I was out there amongst the wild. Okay. I picked a great time to disconnect. I saw Biden dropped out. I put out a couple videos and I fucked straight off to La Montañas. Okay. I was back in California. If you're noticing, if you're a real fan of the podcast, both of you, then you will know that we are back in our studio, aka New York, in my apartment. Okay, I'm no longer amongst the trees. I'm amongst the buildings. I'm amongst the people. I'm amongst the energy, the angst, the anxiety, and it feels good to be back. Okay, it's time for me to reconnect with the people of this realm. I was off with the trees and the squirrels. I spent a lot of time with a great blue heron, a large bird. Put it up, editor. That's me. Okay, I hung out with this bird. I looked at it. I observed it for a long time. And one thing I noticed it did, it just waited. It sat. It sat still. It stood on a log for probably 3-4 hours. Okay, I came up. I paddled up right next to it. I thought this could be a moment. It didn't give a fuck. That bird was posting. I put the video. This is me coming around a corner looking at it. We can learn from this bird, folks. We can learn from this bird. Okay, it was just waiting for its time. Like Kamala Harris, the Kamala Harris bird. Okay, this has been a very fascinating time politically. It was really nice to disconnect for a few days and then come back to it. Because when you disconnect, you're just like, it's actually very funny because you think that when you get back to life, like a new war is going to have broken out. You're going to have 900 text messages. The career opportunity that you've always wanted is going to be sitting there. You're going to have a text from Sydney Sweeney who's like, let's bang. You're going to be like, can't do that, babe. I'm in a relation. Calm down. You kind of think that all sorts of these things are going to be waiting for you. And then you realize that on the other side of being gone for 4 days, almost nothing of importance has happened. And that you are connected into this crazy loop that makes you think all these things. You need to know what's going on at all times. And not only does it not care about you, you almost don't need to care about it. Not saying it's not important, but sometimes it's nice to realize that. Puts things in perspective. It's kind of what I was talking about last week, about not taking yourself too seriously. Realizing that this shit's just going to keep going. You're not as big of a part of it as you think. You're kind of just clued into it. That's an important thing to remember. To me, it relieves anxiety. You just realize you're a silly little bitch and life's going to be okay. But coming back to everything that's going on has been fascinating because I believe when a news cycle moves this fast, people lose perspective. And it brings us to our point here. Timing is everything. Joe Biden, he had his time. He had his time. He felt like he needed to beat Donald Trump. He did. And then he thought, I've still got it, baby. I'm the president. I'm top of the mountain. And the Democratic establishment said, nice try, bitch. They did. That's all the reporting that I'm clued in on said that he didn't really want to leave. He didn't want to leave, but Obama and Nancy Pelosi took the screws to him. And at the end of the day, they're the ones swinging dick. Nancy, not the first time Nancy's husband has been hit in the head with a hammer, if you know what I mean. She got that thing on her. Not literally, but figuratively. Okay? I know people. I know people who have worked in the powers and the halls, in the deep bowels of the White House and Congress. And by that, I mean a few people who've had light internships. But everyone who I know who has worked on Capitol Hill says, whatever you think about Nancy, okay, she is the most insane behind-the-scenes operator of a political machine that you've probably ever seen. Like, when people say the Democratic Party is in disarray because you have the centrist wing, you have the progressives, you have, all sorts of other people. If you're going from union leaders to trans influencers, big boat, weird boat, interesting group, not a Carnival cruise probably. Maybe that's more on the union side. I don't know. I don't know what people like, to be honest with you. Who goes on boats? Not me. But she knows how to get things done. And apparently what she went up and said to Joe Biden, this is true reporting, folks, was we can do this the easy way, we can do this the hard way. Which, again, whoa. If anyone ever said that to me, I'd be, this dude is the president of the United States. Was he asleep? It's possible. But she, also old, just basically was like, we can do it the easy way or the hard way. And he said, fine, I'll do it the easy way. And now everyone's like, yes, king, thank you. You've did it. Selfless. You're a god. And you know what? That's interesting. And now we have Kamala Harris, who has burst onto the scene, and people are saying they have been coconut pilled. This is a real phrase that people are saying. It is interesting to me because I think it's based on something that people were making fun of her for when she said, like, her mom told her she felt like, whatever it is. She is like Miss Bad Bitch right now, okay? Which is very interesting because she had the most historically low approval ratings of almost any vice president in the modern era. Is that true? Vibrationally, yes. Okay? Now, all of a sudden, because of the circumstances, because she didn't have to run in a primary, which makes her go more left than she's probably more comfortable being, they can just slot her straight into a general and she can be like, hey, I was a prosecutor. Never mind that was prosecuting in San Francisco, which doesn't prosecute much, but she can come right in. And people are so grateful to have someone who's alive. I think having a fun little mix of race and gender is a fun thing. And now people are excited. People have something to be fired up about. People are like, yes. And no one has really ever liked her until now. You got to know your time. See, I think that regardless of that, this show is not about a political perspective. It's about following what's going on and saying, hey, what does that mean to me? Okay, I look at this. This is my astrology. Okay, I am not one with the moons and the tides. Okay, I literally one time at a strip club, a stripper told me about how I was a Capricorn, and I was like, yeah, all this is bullshit, and Actually, it's kind of a fun story. Maybe I've told this before. I don't know. But there was a show in San Francisco at Condor, which is a famous strip club, and you get paid like $20. And so your move there is like you go, you do the show. If you want to make a night out of it, you have a free drink, and then you get the fuck out of there before that $20 turns into negative, 100. So, but you sit there, and then you're having your free drink because, again, it's economical, really, if you think about it. Sometimes this is why so many comedians are alcoholics. You get paid so little for such a long time that you're like, well, look, if I don't have this free fucking Tito's, or tequila soda, because every comedian thinks that's like a health benefit now. That is the new green drink for comedians. They're like, I just drink tequila now. It's actually the healthiest one. You have your tequila soda there, and you go, okay, well, now I basically made, $38 given the markup at this here strip club. But if you stay too long, you end up, you could end up getting dance. I didn't do that, but I know a lot of comics who would lose money every Monday night. Point is, I'm sitting there, stripper comes up, she's talking to me. I'm like, all right, well, we'll have a conversation, but I'm not, not doing that. I was sitting there with my friend, funny comedian Emily Van Dyke. We're sitting there, we're having a drink, and this girl launches into my fucking chart and like Capricorn and all this shit. And I don't believe horoscopes, but every stripper does. Strippers and OnlyFans girls believe in horoscopes and Palestine at very high levels in terms of society. I've just noticed this. It's just a real thing. That they are dedicated to the cause of the downtrodden and the pull of the moons and tides. And I'm not saying that either of those things are incorrect and certainly not related, but again, folks, all I can do is notice things on this program. So anyway, she's walking me through this whole grand story of who I am, and to be quite honest with you, I see how the shit works because I'm down for a little flattery myself, and they're saying things about the Capricorn, and I'm like, yeah, well, yeah, we do be kind of driven like that, we do really fight, we really fight for what we believe in. Anyway, goes on this whole diatribe, and I go, yeah, all that sounds good, but like, the way that I think about things is that given that there's been no scientific proof of astrology ever working despite people trying to prove it, to me what it sounds like is a really well-constructed talk track that appeals to certain aspects of people's character that they want to hear reflected about them, because we all want to hear about ourselves, let alone something nice. Tell me about it. Daddy wants to hear it. Daddy wants to hear it. This is the lap dance I want. It's for my ego, and I didn't have to pay for it. I'm in. So anyways, this goes on this whole thing, a lot of nice things. I'm like, yeah, you know how we be. And then at the end, I give my diatribe. I'm like, look, yeah, I find it more likely that these are things that, just are able to kind of convince people of certain things that they want to hear about themselves and hasn't been proven scientifically. I turn to my friend Emily, and I'm like, because I'm thinking, she's not a stripper. She'll be on my side here. And she just said, yeah, that's exactly what a Capricorn would say. And I was like, fuck, I got to get out of here. And then I left. Which I guess is what a Capricorn would do. So anyway, I'm not one with the moons and tides, okay? Respect and love if you are. But this is what we're going to do here. This is our version of the moons and tides. We will look at politics, okay, and we will say, what does that mean about me? What does that mean about us? What is something we can take, okay? Moon rising, fucking Trump is in retrograde, all right? Kamala is waxing. Probably shouldn't say that about the woman candidate. Whoops. But I would assume so. Maybe she's got a bush down. Let's hope not. I think we've had enough Bushes in office. Folks, that's been the episode. No. I hope every president has whatever pubic hair they want to have. This is an interesting place to get stuck. This is not the point, okay? The point is, I'm looking at politics. I'm observing it. I'm seeing things that can be helpful in our own lives. You got to know your time. Okay? And I think this is very interesting because a lot of people perceive that we get stuck in our moments. We're a slave to momentum. We feel like when things are going well, we're the shit. And when things are going poorly, we are fucked. And neither of those things are true. I actually watched a documentary about Carl Icahn, who's a billionaire corporate raider. I think he was so in the documentary, I could tell it wasn't going to be as critical as it probably should have been. But it was interesting. And he, I'm going to butcher this, but he has some fucking painting of Napoleon in his office. And he talks about how Napoleon was this great, brilliant strategist, but then he lost it all because of hubris. And his whole point was this guy, worth $16 billion, he's fucking 85 in his Manhattan office, and he's just going, yeah, it's just a great reminder that if you're not careful, everything can go away. Okay? And I think that the successful people, the people who are riding high, the people who believe the hype, they forget and then it goes away. Life is very precarious. It all rests on a razor's edge. And this is what's been happening in politics. Joe Biden was riding high. He was the president of the United States. He was the Democratic nominee. He felt certain he was going to beat Trump in his sleep, which is what he would have had to do. And he was planning on it. Then he goes to a debate and he gets fucking waxed. And all the support that he had from the Democratic Party, gone. Donald Trump goes out on stage, gets nearly loses his life. You want to talk about timing. If he doesn't move his head like that, he's no longer with us. Instead, he's a fucking hero. He is guaranteed to win this election. Joe Biden doesn't have a chance. It is Donald Trump's time. He goes into the Republican convention with a Band-Aid on his ear. Hulk Hogan's jerking off in front of that. That was wild. Why was he there? That's a whole nother thing. People seem to like that. I thought it was weird. Am I fucking crazy? People are wearing the bandages. Fucking yeah. I'm like, this bitch is over. All of a sudden, Biden drops out. They circle around Kamala Harris, who is a traditionally, if you followed politics much, and maybe you haven't, maybe you're just seeing her now, she's having a fucking moment. If you followed it much, she has struggled mightily every time that she's run. She was not a popular vice president, okay? There are questions about her record from the left and the right. There are all these things, but it was her time. And now all of a sudden Trump is going, I just got shot in the fucking face nearly, and we're not even talking about, we haven't even figured out what's going on. Got to know your time. Okay, right now it's Kamala's moment, but the way things are going, this could change at any moment. This could change at any moment. You got to wait in the wings. You got to perceive. You got to know when to strike. You got to know when your moment's your moment. You know who knew when his moment was his moment? Pommel horse guy. Pommel horse guy knew when it was time, dude. This motherfucker, okay, if you haven't been watching the Olympics, fine, but you've probably seen the memes. This Clark Kent ass looking motherfucker, okay, sitting there, men's gymnastics team, bunch of Adonises, dude. Built guys. I mean, like uncomfortable biceps. You see a male gymnast biceps, you go, what the fuck? They look like Johnny Bravo, dude. They are just all these guys, dude, just doing this thing and that thing and all this. All of a sudden, it comes down to one dude, scrawny fucking Timmy over here, sitting on the side wearing glasses, just fucking what? Goes up, pulls his glasses off. He's like squinting. He's got like 12 pommel horses. Dude's never heard of contacts. Or, potentially, he's like me. I have horrible vision. I have very bad vision. Okay? It's worse from a distance than up close. And every time I've gotten contacts, I've gone, ugh. It's too much. It's way too much. I prefer a soft focus on life. It fits more of my vibe. It's more chill town, Cali vibes to not see everything. You think I want to see shit that far away and focus? It's too much. I'll deal with it when it comes to me. It's a great way to view your life. I think Pommel Horse guy might be the same way. He's like, I just want to see it generally. I don't need to see the chalk marks and where my hand needs to hit. Dude, you got to feel the horse. You got to feel the horse. Stevie Wonder, he never saw the keys. He knows where they are. He knows where they are. That's the type of stuff that Pommel Horse guy understands. And the internet has reacted to him immensely. Okay, this guy knew his time. He didn't do anything all day. He hasn't even been doing curls with the rest of the guys. He just sits there and chills and waits till pommel time and then fucking horses it. This is a beautiful thing. Guy is looking like a school shooter. Okay, off to this guy looks like Thomas Matthew Crook's brother. Dude, this guy had incel levels of like, he's gonna, he might do something bad. He did something great. Okay, and this is why this is how we could fix a lot of the problems in this country. We don't need incels. Okay, we don't need you to focus on guns and explosives and all sorts of weird things. Pick one thing. Be a nerd, commit, stay there, bide your time, wait for your time. These kids are always shooting up schools, 14, 15, 16. You got to wait, brother. You got to wait. Your time is coming. Your time is coming. Focus on one thing you like. It'll happen. You need patience. Wait for your time. People didn't even like Kamala until 12 minutes ago. Megan Thee Stallion shaking ass at her concert. Wait for your time. Pommel Horse guy waited for his time, dude. He's a nerd. He's doing Rubik's Cubes at the fucking Olympics. You think this guy ever thought he was going to smell a vagina? He didn't. He committed to one thing, Pommel Horse. What? That's the least fuckable event in gymnastics, okay? And the whole thing is not even that fuckable if you're a dude, unless you want to fuck another dude. Obviously, the men are hot. Obviously, it's their time. It's the Olympics. I know it's going to be unpopular, but come on, dude. That's not a historic... This ain't the star of the fucking football team. This guy is like, I'm going to do niche gymnastics. That's not supposed to get you a whiff of a genital. This guy waits for his time. His time comes. He nails it. Now he's fucking swimming in it, dude. That is an encouraging story. That is a beautiful story. That is an American story. Never, ever resort to violence when you could just pick one weird thing and get good at it enough that eventually people want to fuck you. It's true. And I'm not here saying life is all about sex, but it's not partially, You gotta get it in sometimes. It's nice, dude. It's nice. So I'm happy for Pommel Horse guy. The Olympics has been interesting. People freaked out about the Olympics. People freaked out about the opening ceremony. I got to be honest, I have really not paid that much attention. Because if there's two things I don't care about, it's Christians freaking out over, depictions of stuff, or any religion for that matter. People are like, if they'd done it, Muslims would have been mad. I wouldn't have cared either. Don't care. The two things I don't care about are artistically insensitive things that anger religions and that art. Because that also sucks. So, yeah, you know what? You want to kick the hornet's nest? Here you go. You did it. Good job. I mean, you want to create the Last Supper with, trans and gay people and then be surprised when people have thoughts. You can be surprised if you want, but maybe this is just what you wanted. And then people do the whole like, well, art's art, like we're talking about it sort of thing. And it's like, well, this should be about the Olympics, right? This should be about the Olympics. I heard the opening ceremony was great. I heard LeBron was on a boat. That's cool. We could have focused on that. I saw some people put up a meme. It was like LeBron on a boat, and it was juxtaposition to like George Washington or something, going over the river, kind of like leading his troops into battle. And people were like, yeah, American. And I'm like, well, traditionally, knowing George Washington, he might have been like, what? Is that a black dude being me? So I don't know. I hope that he wouldn't. He shouldn't. And I think he did a lot of good things as well. So, but I don't support that one. And that I think is very important to say and be clear about, very clear about. But also, term limits, that's a good deal. And making sure we don't have kings. So, history is complex and so are people. So, yeah, I think my only thought on the Olympic ceremony, aside from that, I didn't really watch it and I couldn't find it on YouTube because I think they're copyright striking it because they don't want people to keep getting angry, is on the one hand, what did we think the French were up to? Roughly this. And on the other hand, that little fucking blue Twinkie fellow was kind of mesmerizing to me. And it made me kind of want to watch it because he was kind of all painted blue. And he had kind of an odd look, you know. It was good casting. He had an odd look and kind of a puby blonde sort of a facial hair situation. And I was like, what are we doing out here? You know, not in a sexual way, but just kind of in a like, what's he up to? You know, like what? Does he go back to his apartment like that? Where does he live? What is this guy doing? You know, he's kind of blowing some sort of a conch shell, kind of a fairy little figure. I liked it. I didn't like it. If that pisses you off, I don't care, guys. I really, who has time for this? Who has time for it? And the question is people with meandering podcasts. So I guess I've been enjoying the Olympics. I think I want to be enjoying the Olympics, you know, because it's like it's on. I'm a sucker for a thing. It's a thing that's happening, and there's not a lot of things happening during this part of the sports calendar, so I kind of want to be involved, you know. And then I put it on, and it's people doing flips, and I'm to whoever I'm with, I'm like, these people are unbelievable. I mean, these folks are unbelievable. It's crazy. And then, you know, they keep kind of flipping around, and then I'm on my phone. Then I'm on my phone for a bit. I like swimming 100 meters. It's like, okay, America's lane 3, 25 seconds each way there, 1 minute, boom. It's like the Kentucky Derby, not calling these gals horses. It's good. I'm glad it's happening. I support it. But yeah, it's an interesting time. I wonder how the athletes feel given kind of the stuff that's going on politically right now, because it's such an interesting time to be like unified America supporting us, and that's what the Olympics are supposed to be about. You know, you get everyone together, we're all wearing red, white, and blue. That's what this is about. We don't need to be at the fucking equestrian match going, who you voting for? You know, and it's a conservative guy who's just there because he loves horses, and it's a liberal person because they like the lesbians that ride them, and they're kind of like, I don't know, you know, and so that we don't need that. Just red, white, and blue. Let's go for us. There should be no more unifying factor in American life than the fact that other countries exist and kind of suck. That's what should bring us together. You know, we got problems we got to work on, but you suck. And that's what the Olympics are about. Why aren't we winning more golds? I see we're winning all these medals. Hey, silver, bronze, brother. We need to be the best at everything. At every single thing. You think I'm not doing my part just because I'm not athletic enough to do that, but who podcasts better than the United States? I wouldn't know because I can only speak English. But I like it. I support it because when you just focus on the parts of America that are highly political, things get a little weird. We've got, you know, Kamala came out. Did you see this? Did you see white dudes for Kamala? That's something. White dudes for Kamala is a thing. A bunch of white dudes got on a Zoom call and they were like, white dudes for Kamala. And the thing that I can support being apolitical is that anytime a large group of white men get together based on their identity alone and advocate politically, I support it unequivocally. I think that has only ever been a great idea. We'll be back after these messages. No, obviously what I just said is correct. However, you could make a very fair argument that what they're doing, it's a little tongue-in-cheek. It's a little, let's do something different. It's a little, you know, she's not a white dude, I've been told. I actually didn't know that Kamala Harris wasn't a white dude because I didn't know I don't see any of that. I thought, honestly, I could never tell who was running the country because I'm just so like focused on souls, and like I see mostly people's chakra alignment, and then people will tell me, they're like, oh yeah, of course, white dudes like Trump because he's white, and I'll be like, oh fuck, that's right. Like I didn't even get to that. Like I honestly assumed that the country was largely being run by a series of progressively shorter Asian dwarves. I didn't know. I thought it could be anybody. But then people bring me back online, and I'm like, oh, that's right. Because I can see it. I'm not an idiot. It's just that I get so caught up in people's like vibe and their energy and who they are, and it just takes me a long time to see it. But now I see that Kamala is I believe an Indian and Jamaican woman, which how do you do that? I mean, how do you mix those accents? Because I'd love for someone to nail that. But it's like, it's not a good idea to try. So I think steel drums could work because you could hit the steel drum, but you could hit it in more of an Indian way. Screwing the light bulbs in. Do we even have electricity, folks? Okay. We don't have to do all that. But yes. So white dudes for Kamala was a thing. A bunch of dudes got on like a struggle session, and they were like, "Dude, we got to use our priv," and that's the plan. I didn't join because I'm not joining a Zoom call ever again. Yeah, white dudes for Kamala. It was an interesting thing. I mean, it's all kind of cringe, right? I think this is something that I see people on both sides kind of taking aim. Like Kamala has like Meg the Stallion out, and people are like, oh, that's like cringe. She's pandering, But then fucking Amber Rose is at the RNC, and the Hulk Hogan thing. And it's like, guys, everyone's doing the same shit. You just simply see it when it's more grating to you. And it's all grating because politics are whack. It is the realm of losers, as they say, sports for nerds. And as we've seen from Pommel Horse Man, nerds can sport now. Nerds can sport. It's very hard to be cool and political at the same time because it's not that cool, which is great. So anyway, white dudes for Harris comes out. They do a Zoom call. A whole bunch of people. They did a Karens for Kamala, it's interesting. I think they're trying to reclaim, right? Because like Karens for Trump would get insanely mocked. White dudes for Trump would get shut down. Now the interesting thing is the white dudes for Harris Twitter account got shut down. Just saying, if we are going to do conspiracy-minded things, I heard in passing that people were saying that maybe Google like wasn't serving results for Trump assassination for some period of time. That freaked people out. Are they putting the throttle on? I don't. Having worked at a tech company, I would be surprised if that sort of thing was happening, even though there is advocacy within these companies. I think usually glitches just happen, but you only notice them when they're politically charged. However, Elon Musk has taken over Twitter. Elon Musk has publicly said he supports Trump. Elon Musk is giving millions of dollars to Trump's campaign. He's very active on Twitter. It's kind of his own personal AIM at this point. He's vibing. It's his house. They suspended the white dudes for Harris account right after they raised a bunch of money and it went viral. Is that a thumb on the scale? It's reasonable to ask the question because there's no other reason Elon would have bought Twitter than to do what he wants with it. He has a very specific concept of free speech, and his concept of free speech is all the other major media companies are biased, so I'm going to put my thumb on the scale the other way. That's his concept. It's not an actual, he doesn't actually care about freedom. He's just like, this shit is less disgusting to me, so I'm just going to put my thumb on this bias scale. That's what it is. That's what it is. White dudes for Kamala. The only person that I want to know what he thinks about this is Chet Hanks. And the Chet Hanks update, folks, I don't know how to put this, so we'll just put it up. Here it is. That's where Brother Chet is at right now. This was in late July. This is not how I expected White Boy Summer to be going. I think for me, he's forecasting an alhamdulillah autumn. I think that is what's coming next. I have many brethren in the space, and I think Chet may. I thought Chet was a spokesman for White Boy Summer. I think he might just be the person who gets to. He might just be a racial groundhog. And I think maybe we should just allow him to let us know who's up next. Whenever the season is coming, who is going to slap this time? I think Szechuan Spring could be in the offing. I would be happy for everyone as long as we understand the parameters. We discussed White Boy Summer a little bit. Okay, it is not about white pride. It's not about that. It is about white boys with a little more flavor. So what could alhamdulillah autumn mean? Okay, don't grab that backpack. Okay, no, this is about brown dudes with a little bit of flavor. Okay, a little bit of extra seasoning. Maybe a hip hoppy fellow here and there. Okay, there's all shapes and sizes of people. Okay, and we should celebrate all of that. So I would like to know what Chet thinks about White Dudes for Harris. Chet strikes me as more of a Trump voter, but through the back end, because there's the white boy Trump voter, the kind of country club, Dallas, wearing a kind of a grimy, like SEC, like overused sports stretchy polo. Like a fucking, like, like an Arkansas pole, or like maybe even not SEC. I mean, SMU is maybe too on the nose, but like, just some sort of Southern golf polo with a college football logo on it that they are wearing because they're like, it's a collared shirt, it's nice, but they don't realize that they're out on a Saturday night and they look disgusting, and they keep it under wraps most of the time, but then they'll say some like really racial shit. Like, that's a large part of the Trump base. I don't think Chet Trump's that way, and I know that Chet, Tom Hanks is his father, so he's probably not allowed to say if he's not voting for Kamala. But I could see Chet kind of backdooring, like going to Trump in the way that a lot of people in the hip hop community have gone to Trump, where it's like he did free Kodak, So anyway, we'll let him be our guide. We'll let him be our guide on all of this. It is a confusing time. It is a wild time. But the point is, of course, knowing your time. Okay, being ready for your moment. If things are bad, just know they could get better. You never know. I see a lot of people. This is a very fascinating one. I see. I kind of mentioned this earlier. A lot of people having a tough time in the job market, having a tough time in the relationship game. Relationship one hits a lot. It's so many single people are like, well, they're either just fucking their dick off and they're like, this is sick, or pussy on. I think that's how it works. But people who are single who want to be in a relationship, who really want it, who want it bad, they will say some of the most depressing things about themselves. They'll be like, I just don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know why this happened to everyone else. I think I should be worth it, but I'm not seeing it out there. Or there are no good people out there. They'll throw it on society. There are no good people out there. Whatever happened to the good men and women and, all of that. And I am always saddened by that, because the truth of the matter is, I've been around the block a few times. I've had friends in this situation, so many of them. The simple fact of the matter is, it only takes one. It only takes one person. So all this narrative this negative narrative that you spin about yourself, that you spin about society, that you spin about the other gender, that you try to turn into a political point or some conversation or some interesting thing, is just because you haven't met the one. And the second you do, all that goes, oh shit, I don't have to believe that anymore. So for people who are in that situation right now, I would suggest simply stop believing that negative stuff about yourself now. Stop believing that negative stuff about the other gender or whatever you want that's not out there now. And just start appreciating that you're in a phase of your life right now where you have a little bit of extra freedom and you can enjoy that and you can use that to work on yourself and focus on yourself and build whatever you want to build. And the beautiful thing about that is you're going to mold yourself into this lovely little thing that you won't even realize is a puzzle piece until it clicks. And that's a beautiful thing. And that's what I think the point of this episode is. It's all about your time. Sometimes it's not your time yet. You just got to focus on yourself, tend to your side of the garden, and trust that things will happen. Good things will happen. And that's the beautiful part of life. Now, the negative part of life is that also you can do all that. You will get to a point you will have achieved. You will be at the top of the mountaintop. And then, as can also happen, bad things will happen. Okay, you can think you have it all figured out. You can have the family, the spouse, the kids, okay, the job. You can have it all going on, and then one little thing can topple it. So that's it's a mixed message. I'm not saying that you should be nervous about things. I'm just saying that life is uncertain, and the best thing that you can do is focus on the things that you can control and wait for your time, because good things will come. And if you're at that pinnacle and then you fall off, you got to wait for your time again, okay? Success and failure, they are both fucking, there's a quote about this. I got to look it up because I want to actually get it right instead of just butchering it myself. It was actually in this very documentary this came up. It's a very popular poem, If, by Rudyard Kipling. This is all bars. I will skip because I don't think you want to listen to me read a full poem. Maybe we can do that as an ASMR. Joey reads poetry. This is the point that I if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters just the same. That's what they are. They are imposters. They are both imposters. Okay, what else is going on? We have a few other things here. Timing of everything. I have decided, much like Joe Biden, it is my time to end one of the great benders of all time, and that was my late June through end of July of 2024. It started with the Barstool Beer Olympics, which if you listen to the podcast with David Bakhtiari, that occurred just the night before. That is when I left my home in New York. June 24th. It is July 31st at taping time, August 1st when you hear it, unless I fall asleep at my computer. And it was a special time. It was a magical time. They just don't make them like this, folks. I went from the Barstool Beer Olympics, which is now live on YouTube if you want to watch it. Got a lot of airtime there. Made one really aggressive joke. You'll know when you see it. But yeah, got a lot of airtime. We got second place. It was lovely. 25 beers in a day is a lot. Went diving into the pool after a ball. Spent some incredible time with David, who, thanks again for joining the podcast. He was the fucking man. Is the man. But yeah, some high-level shit talking there. Straight from Nashville to Sacramento. Saw some of you out there. Was opening for Trevor Wallace there. Didn't plug it a lot because the shows were sold out. That was an unbelievable time. Straight to Tahoe. Okay, you guys were on this journey with me. We did a pod from there for the 4th of July. This was unbelievable. Tahoe for 10 days, drinking by the lake, hanging out with people, being with friends, being with family, lightly tearing my oblique. We had a nice time. What did we do from there? Straight to Los Angeles. We did a Chubby's commercial shoot. We did a show at the Improv. We went out both nights. Straight to San Diego Saw some of you out there. We did an after party. We stayed an extra day in Point Loma. We had a big time. We a bunch of shows. Lost the Voice. Covered the Trump assassination. From San Diego back to the Bay Area. A few short days. Grinded out a couple of quick pods. Shipped it off camping. Back to the Bay. Engagement party. Large family picnic into an after party. Giants game with my dad. Beverages flowing. Holy fuck. Into a Monday. What did I do Monday? It doesn't really matter. Okay, I flew back here in New York. So that was an unbelievable month of celebration, of work. Yes, we were doing the podcast, we were performing, but there's a certain level of stripping back, of not doing social engagements every night, of committing to being on your computer, to actually lifting weights again so that I don't turn into a physical form that I hate, that I have decided now that I'm back in New York, we need to do. So I am officially, like Joe Biden himself, I am, while I will continue lightly being on a bender this weekend with some electronic music shows we have lined up, I am officially suspending my campaign as president of being drunk in August. Can't do it. We'll do so lightly, ending the month in Vegas. That'll be fun, but time to dial back in. You got to know your time. You got to know when it's time to focus. Go back to the gym. You know what I do? What I do when I've been on a fun time, you know, and it's not like I stop completely eating healthy. It's not like I stop working out at all, but it's just there's a level. You know when you're on your shit. You know when you're not. And what I like to do when I'm not on my shit physically, but definitely socially, is just fantasize about the type of ridiculous diet that I'm gonna go on. You know, I've been like talking to a good friend of mine, Austin Carter Samuels of Locked In QB. Check it out if you're a young quarterback. About he's a morning shake guy. He's like one meal and a shake guy. I'm like, give me that list. I'm a big give me your list guy. Hey, give me that list. What are we doing? One dude told me about CMOS. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna buy some. Okay, because I hadn't been doing things right. I will actually like work out and not drink for a few days and be like, all this, you know, I don't need to go crazy. But when I know I'm doing too much, I'm like, let's get it go. I got a hormone test because a friend of mine, he was like, dude, I had low testosterone. You might need some performance enhancers. I was like, let's fucking go. I got a test done. I'm fine. I don't even get to do steroids. Fuck. Obviously, I could, but I don't want to be a weirdo gremlin, you know? Eventually, we'll get there. Dude, what is a peptide? What is a SARM? I don't even know. I need an edge, but only when I'm not taking care of my business. You know, you fantasize, what am I going to do? Some new, what is Orange Theory? What is that? I said, people are doing that. What are you guys doing? No one should be working out when I'm not. I want everyone to be on my page at all times. Is that fair? Of course not. So, Orange Theory. I was talking to someone about Orange Theory. Apparently, Orange Theory is this workout program where you go and you do all manner of things, and the concept is to keep yourself, you wear like a heart rate thing, and the concept is to keep yourself dialed into a certain heart rate. That's that orange zone. That's what you want, right? So, I don't know. Gray is maybe bad. Red is too high. I don't know. But it's like there's a leaderboard, and everyone is just dialed into that heart rate, pounding it. I want to go to that class, sit in the corner with a bag and a key. Okay? Just sniffing lines, okay, and ordering pictures and just dominating the leaderboard. Keep that heart rate in the orange. Y'all are biking. I have my shades on, bag, key, pitchers, buckets of beers, the game on, parlays going. Okay, if I'm dipping, if my heart rate's below the orange, add a leg to the parlay. Okay, flat screens. It's just me at Orange Theory, but I'm getting fucked up while everyone's working out, and we'll see who got a better pump in. We'll see who's got that better heart health. If that's how it works, I'm in. It might not be how it works, so that's okay. What else do we have? I saw this interesting thing online, which is that Gen Z has apparently turned on the thumbs up emoji. And it was some post from like Wealth or something, which is going to be followed generally by more like millennial people who are like, if I follow this account, I'll eventually have a house. You know, these accounts that are followed by people who are not doing any of the things to get there, but we're just like, I saw a meme about fucking success and I think it helped. And then Gen Z is looking at Wealth like, what the fucking skibbity is, dude? We don't even, that's bad. We just stream Twitch, dude. Why would you build a business? So Gen Z has apparently, the thing said something along the lines of, Gen Z has decided that the thumbs up emoji is passive aggressive and should be removed from use. And all of the people from my generation flood the comments and they're like, this is fucking, they're like, yeah, all right, fucking, you know, give them the thumbs up like, oh yeah, well, how about that? Yep, got it. Or like, you know, this generation is cooked. We need wars, which is always a crazy take that people have when like people say one thing generation that you don't vibe with, and it's like, this is why we need wars. It's like, are you the one who's triggered potentially? The thing about this is, yeah, the phraseology of should be removed from use. Okay, we can do the snowflake Gen Z thing. The concept that thumbs up isn't passive aggressive sometimes. It is. If I send something, you know, obviously I understand now that I'm old enough to have friends who are busy and to be busy myself, I understand the CEO text. You know the CEO text, right? Like you type some bubbly thing about here, let's do this, and then they're just like, sure, thumbs up. And that used to drive me up a wall because I would be like, you hate me. You hate me. I do all this effusive bubbliness, this entire fucking thing that has been through drafts of me being like, hey, just wanted to not be annoying or whatever, but you know, if you guys are ever around and wanted to help me with this one small thing, but of course, once again, it's no problem. If not, totally understand you're busy and understand that the schedule gets a little wild these days, but would love a little help with this if and when you get a chance, and otherwise, but if not, okay, exclamation point, and then the person like will give you a thumbs up back. And that used to make me want to jump out of a building, if not fly a plane into one. I hated that shit, and it would just, I'd be like, oh, everyone hates me. And now that I actually have somehow crafted a busy life for myself, I do it to people because I'm just like, oh, yep, got it. Moving on to the next thing. You can't assume that people are paying that much attention. So, of course, everyone's freaking out in the comments. One, Gen Z is right. It can read passive aggressive. Two, if you are Gen Z and you're not like super busy yet and you are just thumbs upping and shirring people, you probably are being passive aggressive. And three, if you've got time to even comment on it, how do you even fucking know? So it's just one of those things, one of those beautiful parts of the Joey Show podcast where I go, yeah, that makes sense. It's a little passive aggressive, but we're not going to get rid of it. Everyone just is going crazy all the time. The internet is... I'm going to catch myself there because I was going to be like, oh, the internet's crazy. It's like, it is. It's supposed to be. It's made that way. It is showing you people who have hot takes about hot takes. That's what we're interested in. That's what we watch. Okay? That's why I don't know what... I go on YouTube. This is my algorithm. I realize everyone's is different. I should be watching like history. Okay? My YouTube is just downfall videos now. And apparently it is pedo week online. What the F is going on? My entire thing is Cenat's, you know, again, I think the people who listen to this podcast probably don't know any of the people that I'm going to talk about, so I'm not going to do this full fucking deep dive, but it's like Cenat's main videographer gets caught messaging someone underage. The Mr. Beast's right-hand man became right-hand trans woman, grooming, pedo allegations. Cody Ko, who's another YouTuber, hooked up with a girl when she was underage, and she's talking about it. Meanwhile, the song of the summer is calling Drake a pedo. Do we have any... Anyone else? Anyone else? Oh, yeah. Dr. Disrespect, another streamer. I don't really watch him. Boom, he's getting... I mean, what is going on out there, folks? And probably the truth of the matter is that it's always been going on. We just have receipts now. And that's when it's like, okay, so if the Catholic Church did it, if Jeffrey Epstein and all the traditional circles of power utilized their power to get away with these things, and now a new center of power, which is content creators, people online are doing it. Seems like people are into it, but it's wrong. And now we have receipts. So kind of a flaw in human nature that those who are powerful attract attention from or take it from. I don't want to talk about this anymore because it's horrible, but it is what's going on online, folks. And I do think that it is a good thing that these things are being exposed because they need to stop. And the only way that these things will stop is if people realize that the punishment is swift and bad. And there you go. So there's that. That is just, it's really interesting to know all these things and have watched all these videos and like breakdowns of the situation, and then know that there is no way that like 85% of the audience knows who half of these people are. So kind of have to hit it from a high level. But what I would say is get out there and make love to someone who is well above the legal age and ideally even relatively close in age to you. That is a good policy, and it's the official policy here at the Joey Show podcast. So that is a good way to do it. And a great way to have it done, folks. Okay, very quick, very niche one here. On the topic of Pedo Month online, I went to the Giants game, and I noticed a very interesting thing. This is a very niche sports story. Could just be me losing my mind. Matt Chapman, one of the San Francisco Giants' big off-season moves, came over from the Toronto Blue Jays. Okay, a great defensive third baseman, Gold Glove winner, hell of a bat on him too. His walk-up song, in baseball you have a walk-up song, the batter gets called, you get to pick your song. His was They Not Like Us. Now, not shocking to have that be your choice in the year of our Lord, 2024, which everyone decided belongs to Kendrick Lamar, which everyone made that the song of the summer, unless you're a espresso person, which is, of course, a lovely song as well. He played They Not Like Us as a former Toronto Blue Jay. My first thought was aggressive pick for a song just as a white fella in general. Okay, white dudes going They Not Like Us while Kendrick's dancing on stage with, all the like gangs of LA. It's just are you like that? What are we doing here? He's playing that as a former Toronto Blue Jay. Is that a direct shot at Drake and his time in Toronto? That I'm just going to leave there for the baseball people to figure out. And then finally, a fun piece of the internet this week was the JD Vance couch fucking portion of the internet, which everyone had a lovely time with. I believe the tweet initially said that he put it in his book, Hillbilly Elegy. Sadly, I've come to understand that was not in the book. So it was just a very believable meme, which is funny because I was excited to do jokes about that. Obviously, I wanted, it's easy to do jokes. I was like, dude, what is his casting couch? A couch on a casting couch? These are fun jokes. Of course, he's anti-abortion. He got rid of a lazy fetus. Folks, we could do these jokes all week, except for the fact that he didn't say that. And if he did, how dare you? How dare you scold a man for fornicating with an inanimate object during his youth? I am firmly against making fun of people for doing what they did when they first learned how to blast ropes. You got to let people cook. I was not a couch guy. Okay, but I mean, I had all sorts of my own strategies. I used to just squeeze the tip. Like I used to just whip the thing around. Like I would just before you have balls and like big time, you could just whip the thing around. It was kind of like clit play, and I remember those times fondly. I think it's funny. I think have your memes, have your jokes. I had my own, but don't ever scold a person who is just finding out about themselves for giving something a shot. Okay? Who amongst us hasn't tried? So, yes, I think that's it. There's really nothing else I want to cover from this week. When we are back next week, I hope things have calmed down a little bit. But if there's one thing that I want to harp on from this episode, timing is everything. If you're not feeling it right now, your time may come, okay? Be patient, be focused, be good to yourself, and be understanding, okay? You can go from Kamala Harris, the VP, to Kamala Harris, the presidential candidate, in about a week's time. You can go from Donald Trump pre-getting shot to post-getting shot to post-Kamala Harris in a few weeks' time. Okay, you never know what the world has in store for you. So take the political, observe it, okay, but don't make it your entire identity. Watch it and use it as a little way to kind of observe how human beings are, how the media works, how the world works, how life works. Observe it from a slightly disconnected position if you can. Pick the topics you care about, vote along those lines, okay? I'm a big sports fan. Being a sports fan is one of the most irrational things that I do. I get a lot of joy out of it. It gives me a lot of energy. It fires me up. It does not help me think clearly. So don't become a sports fan of politics. Become an observer. Figure out what you care about. Focus on those specific things, and then bring it back to your own life. Just know the world can change in a moment's notice, and maybe the most beautiful thing for you is right around that next corner. That's our little Mr. Rogers close for this week of the Joey Show podcast. Please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Go to joeyavery.com/live. Some shows coming up. I've plugged them a bunch, so we're kind of in a lull on the headlining calendar until the end of August. Before Vegas and Chicago and Houston and Belmore, New York, and our little Canada run is coming up, and then a bunch more will be coming down the old piperoonie soon. Also working on a little bit of fun merch. So we're turning into a real operation here. I promise I'm working hard, even though it looks like I've just been boozing since late June. It has been hard work, but we're burning it at both ends, folks. And now we're back. Please like, please subscribe. Audio version, video version, whatever you do, we appreciate it. And if you are enjoying it, tell a friend. We can grow piece by piece out here. Grassroots movement. I'm Joey Avery. This was The Joey Show. We'll see you next week. Thank God I have a podcast.